In this video, we'll be hunting a box of nickels. We'll be looking for anything older than 1960, including Silver War nickels, buffaloes, or anything older. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, heirs of varieties, or any other cool things we can find. Lately for nickels, it's been pretty tough for me. I haven't gotten a war nickel or buffalo in quite a few boxes, so I'm hoping that can change with this box right here. And I will probably be adding a second box onto this hunt, because I have another box right now that's all uncirculated, so I'm going to try to trade that for another box that I can actually hunt to add onto this video. Anyways, let's start the hunt, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. Roll 3, and we have our first older nickel, and it is just a 1958 Denver. Roll 7, and I just uncovered something I don't see too often. That is a 1938 first year Jefferson. If it has a DRS mint mark, it'll be a key date. It's pretty circulated, probably going to be a Philly, but either way, it'll be a great find. Let's see what it is. And it's going to be a key date. 1938S, key date Jefferson. It is circulated, but still, key date first year Jefferson found. That is an amazing find. Just open the next roll, and I see the edge of the first foreign coin in the box, and it doesn't look Canadian. It's going to be something different. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's going to be a Panamanian Nickel, 1982. Looks like it's in pretty good shape as well. Might be a little bit of a grease strike too. Looks like there's a lot of marks of that in the field, but yeah, pretty nice shape too for being from 1982. 5 Centésimos de Balboa. That is a great find. Roll 11 had a couple more finds. First, just another common late 50s, 1959 Denver, and we also got a low mintage 2009 that's also from Denver. Roll 15, yet another find from the 50s. Still no 40s yet, which is a little odd, but this one is 1955 from Denver. Roll 17, had a couple more finds. We did get our first 40s nickel, a pretty beat up 1948 out of Philly, and we got yet another 1959D. Next roll, we're only on roll 18, and I just got the second 30s nickel of the box. This one isn't a key date like the other one, but it is a 1939 out of Philly. Not the DDR, but still, that's a good find. Next roll once again, and we have another find. I am showing the reverse first for a reason. It is a 1953 Denver, but I don't think it's damaged. I think there is a lamination error on the obverse. You can see it's kind of, looks like it's kind of peeling right there, peeling off. So it is pretty damaged. I'm pretty sure it's a lamination error. Even though it's an error, it's not going to have too much value in this condition. But either way, that's a pretty cool find. Roll 25, halfway point of the box, had a couple more finds, and they were 1949 out of Philly and 1952 from Denver. Next roll, and we have another find from the 40s, and this one is 1946 out of Philly. Hunting through roll 28, and I already uncovered the third 30s nickel of the box. This one is going to be another 1939. Pretty slick, so I doubt it'll be a key date, but that 38S was pretty worn, so who knows what's going to happen. And of course, it's just another common 1939 Philly, not the DDR once again, but still, another 30s nickel is a great find. Roll 30, another find from the 40s. This one is our first one from 1940 of the hunt, and it is a Philly. Roll 32, another find from the 50s. This one is a 1957D. Next roll, we have yet another find from the 40s. This time it is another 1946 out of Philly. Again, next roll, a couple more finds, both from the 50s, 1954 and a 1958, both from Denver. Roll 35, and the streak of finds is going to continue. This time with 1947 out of Philly and another 2009, even though it has the number 5 written on it in Sharpie, still going to keep it. Roll 40, another find from the 50s. This time we have 1956, minted in Philly. Roll 42, another 40s find. This one is another 1940 from Philly. Roll 44 actually had a few finds. First, we have our fourth 30s nickel of the box, which is great. It is just another 1939 out of Philly. Pretty slick. Of course, not the DDR, but still, that's a great find. Then we got one from the 40s, 1947 Denver, and one from the 50s, 1957. That's also from Denver. Next roll, yet another find. This one is just another 1959, but this time it's from Philly. Roll 48 had a couple more nickels from the 50s, and they are 1954 and a 1959, both from Denver. Roll 49 had yet another nickel from the 50s, but this one is a slightly scarcer date, a 1951 out of Philly. That was all for box number 1, and even though it was another box with no silvers or buffaloes, it was still a pretty good box. We got quite a mix of older Jeffersons, including a key date, 1938S, which was an awesome find. Also a few 39s, and that cool Panamanian 1982 foreign. As well as a couple other side finds as well. Pretty good box. Still gonna add a second box onto this video, and I'll be back when I have another box to hunt. Alright, I am back, and I did get another circulated box of nickels to hunt, and I am very excited for this box because we have an ender right here, which is 1947, and even better than that, we have a proof ender right here, a 1980S proof ender. Hopefully that's a great sign for the box. Hopefully there's more good finds like other proofs, silvers, buffaloes with it. Who knows? So let's start this box, and I'll bring you in when we have the first find of box 2. Roll 2 has the first find for box 2, and it is just a 1958 from Denver. Roll 5, and we have the first 40s find for box 2, and it is 1947, minted in Denver. And the next roll is that proof ender, so I'll bring you in when we open the roll to get a closer look at that proof. Just open that proof ender roll. Don't see anything else in the roll that's confirmed find yet, but here it is. 1980 San Francisco proof. Pretty decent shape for being in circulation, but it does unfortunately have the ring of death on the front for being an ender, but still has pretty good cameo finish left on it. I'm sure a lot of that scuffiness will wipe off with a cloth. And yeah, proof nickels, don't get them too often. That is a great find. Same roll as that proof, had a couple finds from the 40s. First is a 1940 with a pretty cool circulation cameo finish to it, and that is out of Philly, and a 1941 from Philly as well. Roll 14, and we finally have another find, and it is a pretty nice 1959 from Philly. Roll 17, and I just uncovered something I haven't seen in way too long. After so many boxes that I'm not getting one, we finally have a 35% silver war nickel. Has a Philadelphia mint mark. Let's see what year it is. And it is a 1944P. All war nickels are pretty common, but I haven't gotten one in a really long time. Awesome to find silver in the box. Hopefully, there's some more. Roll 21 had a couple finds in the 50s, which were 1951 out of Philly and 1959 Denver. Next roll, a couple more finds yet again. This time we have one from the 40s, 1941 from Philly, and yet another 1959D. Roll 26, and we have another find from the 40s. This one is 1947 from Denver. Next roll, and this time we have a pretty beat up 1954 from Denver. Roll 33, and we have another find. This one is just a 1958 Denver. Roll 35 was that 40s ender, and it had one more find in the roll. And the other one in the roll was this 1940, and it is from San Francisco, and it's in pretty decent shape. And the ender, which was that 1947, also ended up being from San Francisco. Roll 39, and we have another find from the 40s. This one is 1948 from Philly. Next roll had a couple finds from the 50s this time, and they are 1954 and another 1959, both from Denver. Next roll, yet another find from the 50s. This one is just another 1958 Denver. Roll Roll 47, another find from the 50s. This one is a pretty nice 1952, minted in Philly. Roll 49 of box 2, and we have another find from the 40s. This one is 1946, minted in Philly. Nickel box has been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We ended up with 21 estimates, only one foreign, which was this pretty cool 1982 Panamanian Nickel. Really surprised we didn't get any Canadians. I usually get at least a couple of boxes, and we got 0 and 2 boxes, which is pretty odd. 2009s, we actually ended up with 5, which is kind of ironic because one of them actually has a 5 written on it in Sharpie. All are from Denver. Don't usually get that much in a hunt, so that's pretty cool. And then we did get this 1953, I believe it was a Denver, and it has what looks like a lamination peel on the obverse. Of course, not worth anything, pretty rough shape, but still pretty odd find to set aside. And then we'll go on to the older Jeffersons. We got a lot from the 40s, as well as a lot from the 50s. And the best find of these, we did get a few 1939 Phillies. I believe there were 3. And then we did get one key date in the first box, which was awesome, 1938, San Francisco. Definitely don't get key dates too often. That is an amazing find. And the 2 best finds of the hunt were in box 2. We had that 1980 proof, which is in pretty decent shape other than having the ring of death on the obverse from being an ender. Proof nickels are pretty hard to get, so that's a great find. And probably my favorite and best find of the hunt is this 1944 Philadelphia minted war nickel, 35% silver. As I said, it's been quite a few boxes since I've gotten one of these. I've been on a bit of a dry streak lately, so it's awesome to get a war nickel after so many skunk boxes. And in general, this was an amazing nickel hunt.